Hello there, a very happy Holi to all our viewers. You're watching the news at 8. I'm Maha Siddiqui. First up, the headlines. Home Ministry to appoint an interlocutor and begin the process for constitutional solution for the indigenous people of Tripura, says Tipra Motha's Pradyot Burman. But Tipra Motha will not join the BJP government yet. Manik Saha sworn in as State Chief Minister again. 8 other ministers also take oath. Cryptocurrency transactions to come under the ambit of money laundering provisions. Exchange and transfer of virtual digital assets would also fall under PMLA law, says a Finance Ministry notification. Telangana MLC K. Kavita seeks more time to appear before the Enforcement Directorate in Delhi, cites prior engagements as ED summons her tomorrow in the alleged Delhi liquor policy scam. She terms the move tactics of intimidation by the centre. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese lands in Gujarat to watch the India versus Australia final in Motera with Prime Minister Modi tomorrow. The PM is expected to announce the opening of an Australian university campus in Gujarat. Key vote in the US Senate on President Biden's choice for ambassador to India. Will Eric Garcetti finally get a confirmation from the US Senate Foreign Relations Committee almost 2 years since his nomination by the president? UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak faces backlash over contentious legislation regarding migrants crossing the English Channel on small boats. UN rights chief says he is deeply concerned and the law may violate international law. The Festival of Colours is celebrated with excitement and fervour across the country, from the Australian Prime Minister to the US Commerce Secretary and Bollywood stars. Everyone paints the town red on Holi. Our top story, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has agreed to appoint an interlocutor and begin the process for a constitutional solution for the indigenous people of Tripura. This as per the former Tripura Royal and convener of Tipra Motha, Pradyot Burman. However, he and the BJP have rubbished claims that Tipra Motha will join the government. Meanwhile, Manik Saha was sworn in as the Chief Minister for the second time. 8 other ministers took oath as the top BJP brass were present for the ceremony in Agartala.
What came out of that was the appointment of an interlocutor. Yes. And that, many would say, is a huge step and a solid move towards finding a solution. Provided you get towards a solution and you have one in a proper time frame, would you then consider joining the government?
The Honourable Home Minister has said that interlocutor will be appointed in the next 2 days, and there's a time frame given of 2 to 3 months, because we don't want this to drag on. Our people have suffered for too long. Once that is done and once we examine it, what is in the interest of our people, what is a permanent solution? We don't want these issues to come up over and over again. There should be a thorough, bare discussion, transparent, and for the benefit of the people and not for a few politicians. So once that is done, then we will view on the success of the accord. Only then we will view about us being a part of government.
In fact, Saurabh Gupta is now joining us with more details on this. Saurabh, break this down for us. What does it mean for the politics in Tripura?
Well, you know, there are two political plays here. One is, of course, the Tipra Motha. The Tipra Motha is led by Pradyot Burman, who's the former royal. He also is the chairman of the Tipra Motha. He is someone who's been pushing for a solution for the indigenous people of Tripura, the indigenous tribal people of Tripura. And that is something that his demand has been, his central demand has been that. Now the government, the union government led by the BJP and especially Home Minister Amit Shah has assured him that they will appoint, the centre will appoint an interlocutor, which means it's a step towards that solution. Now, the BJP on its part has a majority. It does have a majority, but it's not a very comfortable or big majority. Why does the BJP then want to woo the Tipra Motha? The reason is simple. The BJP is looking at a rainbow coalition in the northeast. It's stepping up its presence. Look at the last 2 days. The Prime Minister, the Union Home Minister, the BJP President JP Nadda, they've all attended swearing-in ceremonies of not just a BJP chief minister, but also other parties, their allies. So in a sense, the BJP is looking at the larger canvas in 2024.
Okay.
And it's eyeing a chunk of seats from the northeast. And that is why you see this power play by the BJP looking at solutions, permanent solutions, which then would guarantee them support and grow their party in these areas.
All right, Saurabh, many thanks for joining us with all those details and the perspective why this is important in the run-up to 2024 specifically. Meanwhile, Manik Saha was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Tripura for the second time. 8 other ministers took oath along with him after the BJP clinched a victory in the February 16th Assembly polls. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP Chief JP Nadda all attended the oath-taking ceremony in Agartala. Let's move on now to some other political stories. BRS MLC K. Kavita has sought more time to appear before the Enforcement Directorate in the alleged liquor policy scam case. The MLC cited prior engagements as the ED summoned her tomorrow in Delhi. The ED will set a new date tomorrow evening. The MLC had earlier called the summons an intimidation tactic by the centre, rubbishing all allegations against her. Now, cryptocurrency transactions would now come under the ambit of money laundering provisions as per the notification by the Finance Ministry. The government said that participation in transactions involving virtual digital assets would be under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The move is the latest step by the government to tighten oversight of digital assets. Let's take a look at the markets now, which ended in the green. The Sensex was up 0.21%, ended at 60,348.09. Nifty rose by 0.24%, closed at 17,754.40. Power stocks gained, IT and metal stocks though dragged. A rupee closed 15 paise lower at 82 rupees and 5 paise per dollar. There seems to be trouble brewing for the BJP AIADMK ties in Tamil Nadu. This as 5 BJP members have quit and joined the AIADMK, including IT Wing Chief CTR Nirmal Kumar. The BJP has called this breach of alliance dharma. Sam Daniel reports.
BJP workers burning pictures of AIADMK Chief Edappadi Palaniswamy, their Tamil Nadu ally. After 5 BJP functionaries joined AIADMK, including the BJP's State IT Wing Chief CRT Nirmal Kumar, violating what they said was alliance dharma.
That only shows BJP is growing in a very fast way. We were expecting this to happen because it is not easy for BJP to grow. Once you grow, they'll start attacking you. You have to withstand that, then you have to grow, because the growth has to happen in phases here. It is a sign of BJP's growth. Some 3-4 people have gone and joined. Likewise, you have seen some 4-5 people from ADMK have come and joined in the press meet also.
The AIADMK denies its poaching from the BJP, which has a negligible presence in the state. The Saffron Party, in fact, it points out that in the past, the BJP had absorbed senior AIADMK leaders, including former Minister Nainar Nagendran, who's now the BJP's leader in the House.
If anybody who joins from BJP just be saying that, see, such is the might of our leader, he is embraced, they have embraced our leader. So when somebody from the other faction joins BJP, they are happy about it. And why should they feel sorry or bad about when somebody quit BJP and joined the other party?
Trouble began when the BJP, which has just 4 MLAs in the 234-member House, projected itself as the key opposition amid the tussle between EPS and OPS. In the recent by-poll, which the AIADMK alliance lost, both parties didn't even campaign together. Today, 13 other BJP members quit the BJP in support of CTR Nirmal Kumar. The AIADMK has lost 3 elections in alliance with the BJP since the Lok Sabha polls. The big question, is the party looking at the BJP as a liability now? All eyes will be on Thursday's meeting when this issue is expected to be raised. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find TV.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has landed in Gujarat to a colourful Holi welcome. He attended the Holi celebrations at the Raj Bhavan after visiting the Sabarmati Ashram today. Now, the India versus Australia final test in Ahmedabad will be watched by the two Prime Ministers tomorrow in Motera. While the spirit of friendship will prevail in the VIP stands on the field, Steve Smith promises to make it hard for India, and Rohit Sharma says his team will be ruthless.
PM Narendra Modi, PM Anthony Albanese and 75 years of India versus Australia friendship will headline the first hour of the Motera test on Thursday. The two PMs will walk through this corridor, inaugurate a wall of fame before a short stint at commentary. 100,000 spectators are expected to fill the stadium with 3,000 plus police personnel and multiple layers of security. The teams are excited about meeting the PMs.
It's obviously a big day for India here and Australia with the Prime Minister as well. So yeah, for us, we'll get the formalities out of the way, and then when that's done, it's about focusing on our game.
The Prime Minister of both countries are coming. Obviously, it's an exciting time, but obviously for players, you know, we've got job at hand. So the talk is just around that, how we're going to come on top of this test match and try and do everything that we can to win this test match.
Win this test, India are in the World Test Championship final. Lose this and their fate will lie in Sri Lanka's hands. The contest, as Steve Smith says, is expected to last longer than the three previous tests.
Bowling first has won all three games so far. Probably got to be a brave man to win the toss and bowl, but I don't know, maybe there's something in it. We'll wait and see. You know, if they water it again and there's a bit of moisture in the morning, who knows? But yeah, we'll wait and see at the toss tomorrow.
But toss will be a big dilemma for the captains, as all three tests in this series were won by the captain who had lost the toss.
No, it's something I really thought of. If you win the toss, what should we be doing? So I guess the three results that has come, you know, the captains have preferred to lose the toss.
The first day of the test match here at the Narendra Modi Stadium will be a lot about the two heads of the state, stories off the field, but on the pitch too, several interesting subplots will unfold. Cricket fans here are unhappy because 80,000 tickets have been given to friends of BJP. Only 20,000 sold through ticketing partners, which means genuine fans will get limited access to what promises to be a mouth-watering contest between India and Australia. At the Narendra Modi Cricket Stadium in Ahmedabad with camera person Xavier Thomas, this is Rika Roy for NDTV.
And Delhi is seeing rising cases of H3N2 flu. People are complaining of protracted sickness and cough. The prevalence of the flu symptoms among people is also influenced by a change in weather from extremely cold to quite warm quite early in the year.
The influenza ward in one of the capital's busiest private hospitals. 48-year-old Delhi resident Neelu Malhotra was admitted here after she complained of prolonged fever, lingering cough and severe fatigue.
मेरा सबसे सिम्टम फीवर और खांसी था और शिवरिंग बहुत ज़्यादा थी, बहुत ठंड लग रही थी मुझे और खांसी, जुकाम, कंजेशन यही सब थे और मैंने दवाई ली. मेरा बेटा खुद डॉक्टर है पर मुझे घर में फ़र्क नहीं पड़ा.
The highly infectious H3N2 influenza or Hong Kong flu has resulted in more hospitalizations than other flu types across North India in the past few months. Patients, especially children and the elderly, are flocking to emergency wards with symptoms ranging from fever, body aches, breathlessness to sore throat.
December and January, we saw a lot of cases of influenza. Similar to COVID in the sense that, see, they are both viral illnesses, both of them have been mutated greatly and they have been causing epidemics and they are affecting the lungs.
The aggressive and long-lasting virus plaguing the country is accompanied by a sudden spike in COVID cases across India. India saw a single-day rise of over 260 fresh coronavirus cases, with active cases increasing to nearly 3,000, according to the Union Health Ministry.
One problem with the rising influenza and other viral infections such as RSV and adenovirus is that there is rampant use of antibiotics in an apparent attempt to reduce the severity of the infection. Now, antibiotics are not effective in viral infections.
A string of viral infections after the COVID pandemic. This points to the fact that we as a society must aim for larger habit formation. We must wear masks at all times, maintain physical distancing and keep our immunity as high. In New Delhi with camera person Prem Singh, Vedant for NDTV.
In a move that can end up banning the popular Chinese-designed social media app TikTok in the United States, the White House has endorsed a bipartisan bill that seeks to address privacy concerns around the app.
Well, the bill enables the US president to force the sale of foreign-owned apps and software if they are deemed to be a national security threat. Now, TikTok has a whopping 100 million users in the United States, and increasingly it's used as a search engine. The United States wants to restrict China's ability to access US user data, viewing patterns, and geolocation. There are concerns that TikTok influences what users see by hiding or promoting some content. Now, TikTok has its lobbyists out. They've recently spent millions to engage US congressional leaders and convince them on policies on children's privacy, content moderation. The company's also launched a security plan that aims to insulate the US operations of the company from any Chinese influence through an independent board of directors to oversee data security. But not many in the US are convinced. Remember, TikTok was banned in India in June 2020 on the grounds that it was prejudicial to sovereignty and integrity of our country.
Meanwhile, a key Senate vote in the US will decide whether the confirmation of Eric Garcetti as the ambassador to India finally comes through. The Biden administration has stuck to its decision of nominating Garcetti despite objections in the past. Will India finally have a full-time US ambassador soon? Take a look.
I'm running as a proud Democrat.
The Biden administration is making yet another attempt at getting Eric Garcetti cleared as the US ambassador to India. This after the post has been lying vacant for over 2 years now. President Joe Biden announced that he was resubmitting Eric Garcetti's name to the Senate in January this year. The US Senate Foreign Relations Committee is slated to vote on the nomination of Eric Garcetti. The process is critical as India has not had a full-time American ambassador for over 2 years, despite Washington, D.C. stressing that the US-India partnership is the most consequential in the world.
Under those circumstances, many find it slightly baffling that India still doesn't have a full-time US ambassador. And recently it's been mentioned by one of the leaders from the opposition party, Shashi Tharoor, as well. Is that not a priority for the US to have a full-time ambassador over in India?
Just last week, President Biden renominated Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti as his nominee to be the U.S. ambassador to India. I'm from Southern California, very close to Los Angeles. Mayor Garcetti is a big deal in California. I'm confident India will very soon have a fully confirmed ambassador. Until then, my good friend and colleague, Ambassador Beth Jones, is serving capably as our chargé.
74-year-old Elizabeth Jones has been the chargé d'affaires since October last year, as US has had almost half a dozen interim envoys since President Trump's representative Kenneth Juster left India in January 2021. The former Los Angeles mayor Eric Garcetti was nominated by President Biden in July 2021. But sexual harassment allegations against Garcetti's former municipal aide Rick Jacobs held up his confirmation. The specific charge against Garcetti was that he was aware of the charges of sexual harassment and racist behavior of his aide, but ignored it.
I'd like to express my strong opposition to the nomination of Eric Garcetti to be ambassador to India. I'm compelled to vote against Mayor Garcetti due to the serious allegations that enabled sexual harassment and racism to run rampant in the Los Angeles mayor's office.
Considered close to President Biden, Eric Garcetti was part of Biden's election campaign team. He became the Los Angeles mayor in 2013 and made a name for himself by aggressively pushing the climate agenda. Garcetti co-founded Climate Mayors and led more than 400 US mayors to adopt the Paris Climate Agreement. In 2019, he launched the Los Angeles Green New Deal, a comprehensive roadmap to protect the environment and make LA the first ever sustainable city. The plan includes making the city carbon neutral by 2050. He also led the first National Day of Action on Immigration and has put local resources towards providing dreamers and others with legal aid to fight deportation. Garcetti served 12 years as an intelligence officer in the U.S. Navy Reserve Component and served under the Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet and the Defense Intelligence Agency before retiring as a lieutenant.
This time, 2 years ago, we saw what happens when people don't.
The White House is reportedly confident about Garcetti and believes he's qualified to serve as the U.S. ambassador to India. Last week, Press Secretary of the White House told reporters that they look forward to the Senate moving forward with this nomination. In New Delhi, Maha Siddiqui for NDTV.
So don't see that power before you exercise.
Well, and toxic fumes are choking Kochi as the Brahmapuram waste plant fire triggers smoke that is still engulfing the Kerala coastal town. The fire is yet to be completely doused 5 days after it started.
Toxic smoke, fumes suffocating Kochi, even 7 days after the fire at the massive mounds of waste at Brahmapuram. 30 teams of firefighters and Navy choppers have been deployed since the last week. Efforts still on to fight the billowing smoke and toxic fumes emerging from deep within the mounds of garbage, including plastic, metals, rubber, among others.
We are facing very difficulties for the last 1 week. Yesterday it was very severe, and we were facing very breathing difficulties, and strong odor was there.
Locals forced to breathe toxic fumes as an estimated 50,000 tons of non-degradable waste smolders, according to Green Warriors.
What we see is fire and smoke, but what we don't see is huge quantities of dioxin and furan. So considering around 50,000 tons of plastic and other non-biodegradables which would have got burnt in the last 1 week, around 250 kgs of dioxin and furan would have got generated.
The warning hardly effective as the air quality index across Kochi continued to be in the poor category even 6 days after the fire. Brahmapuram in Kochi is the only mega centralized solid waste management plant in the 14 districts of Kerala. The Kerala High Court has pulled up the Kochi Corporation, saying Kochi is a gas chamber, asking for a detailed report on the cause of fire and an action plan. The corporation has told the court that the reason of the fire is still not known, but the left government's minister has this to say. Brahmapuram fire and the aftermath is a catastrophe, but not a sudden one. The way it has been managed, or the lack of any management over the years, has been a disaster in the making. Government has to act urgently. There are people who don't deserve to breathe this human-induced toxic smoke. And this isn't by any means only a Kerala challenge. With Stringer Reguraj, Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
From that rather shocking story, turning our attention now to Holi celebrations and leaving you with images of the same one that captured the fancy of political visitors from Australia to the US.